dear aspirants, welcome to Learning Radius. Welcome to Learning Radius Current Affairs 2020-21. In this video, we'll be discussing another 10 topics related to economic and social development. And the 10 topics of discussions are Agriculture Infra Fund Scheme, Investment Clearance Cell, Automotive Solution Portal for Industry Research and Education (ASPIRE), 2020 Global Multidimensional Poverty Index (MPI), Pragyada Guidelines on Digital Education, Rural Local Bodies Basic Untied Grants, India's first transshipment hub, State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 SOFI, Google India Investment, WTO World Tariff Profile 2020. The first topic of discussion is Agriculture Infra Fund Scheme. The Centre has issued guidelines for financing under the recently announced 1 lakh crore Agriculture Infrastructure Fund AIF scheme that seeks to facilitate creation and strengthening of post-harvestment management and marketing infrastructure across the country. So the first topic is Agriculture Infra Fund Scheme. Centre has issued guidelines for financing under this recently announced 1 lakh crore Agriculture Infrastructure Fund scheme that seeks to facilitate creation and strengthening of post-harvest management and marketing infrastructure across the country. The scheme will be operational from the current financial year till 2029-30. Disbursements will be made in the first 4 years, 10,000 crore in the current fiscal and 30,000 crore each over the next 3 years. Under the scheme, 1 lakh crore will be provided as loan by banks and financial institutions to farmers, farmer producer organizations, primary agriculture cooperative societies, agri entrepreneurs, startups and marketing cooperatives, among others, to set up agriculture infrastructure such as supply chain services, including e-marketing platform, primary processing centers, warehouse, silos, pack houses, assaying units, storing and grading units, cold chain, logistics facilities and ripening chambers. So here it's very significant. The Centre has issued guidelines for financing under the recently announced 1 lakh crore Agriculture Infrastructure Fund scheme that seek to facilitate creation and strengthening of post-harvest management and marketing infrastructure across the country. And specifically, I mentioned where the attention is. Financing under the AIF will also be extended to viable projects for building community farming assets such as organic input production, biostimulant production units, infrastructure for smart and precision agriculture, projects identified for providing supply chain infrastructure for cluster of crops, including export clusters, and projects promoted by central, state, local governments of their agencies under public-private partnerships. The moratorium for repayment under this scheme may vary from 6 months to 2 years. All loans under this financing facility will have an interest subvention of 3% per annum up to a limit of 2 crore. Subvention will be available for a maximum period of 7 years. The extent and percentage of funding to private entrepreneurs out of the total financing facility may be fixed by a national level monitoring committee consisting of officials from Agriculture Ministry, states and NABARD that will steer, guide and implement the project. A credit guarantee coverage will be available for eligible borrowers. Tentatively 6 states, Uttar Pradesh, Rajasthan, Maharashtra, Madhya Pradesh, Gujarat and West Bengal are being allowed over half of this 1 lakh crore fund. So there's a discussion about. Next is Investment Clearance Cell. Civil Aviation Ministry has set up an Investment Clearance Cell ICC for prompt assistance and clearance of proposals. The 10-member cells will be headed by a joint secretary in the ministry. It will serve as a single window system for attracting investment. The ICC will bring projects that require special incentive policy interventions, expeditious clearances and systematic reforms to the empowered group of secretaries. It will maintain active contact with investors and work with states. The committee will also identify policy and regulatory issues that come in the way of investment. It was announced in the 2020-21 budget. So that's about the Investment Clearance Cell. Civil Aviation Ministry has set up an Investment Clearance Cell ICC for prompt assistance and clearance of proposals. The 10-member cell will be headed by a joint secretary in the ministry. It will serve as a single window system for attracting investments. Next topic of discussion is Automotive Solution Portal for Industry Research and Education, and the short is ASPIRE. So ASPIRE is Automotive Solutions Portal for Industry Research and Education. Department of Heavy Industries, Government of India has taken initiative to promote innovation and to develop the related ecosystem. To facilitate this initiative, DHI through organization under this agency is creating technology platforms for various sectors. In line with the recommendation by DHI, International Center for Automotive Technology (ICAT) has launched its e-portal named Aspire Automobile Solution Portal for Industry Research and Education. So that is about Department of Heavy Industries. Government of India has taken initiative to promote innovation and to develop the related ecosystem. The key objective of this initiative is to enhance the technological capability of Indian automotive sector through exchange of knowledge and expertise in order to make them self-reliant and to facilitate the growth of automobile sector and overall socio-economic progress of the country. This technology platform will facilitate the Indian auto industry, including OEMs, Tier 1, Tier 2 and Tier 3 companies, R&D institutions and academia, colleges and universities to come together for R&D, technology development, shop floor, quality, warranty issues resolution, expert opinion, etc. on issues involving technology advancements. The e-portal will act as one-stop solution. The Aspire portal has been prepared by ICAT and made live in its initial version on 15 July 2020 as phase 1. The portal can be accessed through aspire.icat.in. These measures are being developed to develop strong and self-reliant automotive industry in India, which is in tune with the vision of Make in India and Atmanirbhar vision of Government of India. So here again another very significant area, that is Department of Heavy Industry, Government of India has taken initiative to promote innovation and to develop the related ecosystem. To facilitate this initiative, DHI, that is the Department of Heavy Industries, through organizations under its aegis is creating technology platforms for various sectors in line with the recommendation by DHI. International Center for Automotive Technology has launched its e-portal named Aspire, that is Automobile Solution Portal for Industry Research and Education. 2020 Global Multidimensional Poverty Index, that is MPI. The 2020 Global Multidimensional Poverty Index MPI data and publication charting pathways out of multidimensional poverty, achieving the SDGs, released on 16 July 2020 by the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative at the University of Oxford and the Human Development Report Office of the United Nations Development Programme. The Global Multidimensional Poverty Index measures the complexities of poor people's lives individually and collectively each year. So that is another topic, that is MPI, Global Multidimensional Poverty Index. The 2020 Global Multidimensional Poverty Index data and publication charting pathways out of multidimensional poverty, achieving the SDGs, released on 16 July 2020 by the Oxford Poverty and Human Development Initiative at the University of Oxford and the Human Development Report Office of the United Nations Development Programme. It provides a comprehensive picture of global trends in multidimensional poverty covering 5 billion people. $1.90 a day poverty rate, the trends monitor global poverty in different forms. And the key findings are, across 107 developing countries, 1.3 billion people, 22% live in multidimensional poverty. Children show higher rates of multidimensional poverty. Half of multidimensionally poor people, 644 million, are children under age 18. 1 in 3 children is poor compared with 1 in 6 adults. So here children show higher rate of multidimensional poverty. Half of multidimensionally poor people, that is around 644 million, are children under age 18. 1 in 3 children is poor compared with the 1 in 6 adults. About 84.3% of multidimensionally poor people live in sub-Saharan Africa, that is around 558 million, and South Asia 530 million. 67% of multidimensionally poor people are in middle income countries, where incidence of multidimensional poverty ranges from 0% to 57% nationally and from 0% to 91% subnationally. Every multidimensionally poor person is being left behind in a critical mass of indicator. For example, 803 million multidimensionally poor people live in a household where someone is undernourished. 476 million have an out-of-school child at home. 1.2 billion lack access to clean cooking fuel. 687 million lack electricity, and 1.03 billion have substandard housing materials. 107 million multidimensionally poor people are age 60 or older, a particular importantly figure during the COVID-19 pandemic. 65 countries reduced their global multidimensional poverty index value significantly in absolute terms. 4 countries halved their MPI value. India 2005-6 to 2015-2016 did so nationally and among children and had the biggest reduction in the number of multidimensionally poor people. 4 countries halved their MPI value. India did so nationally and among children and had the biggest reduction in the number of multidimensionally poor people. So multidimensional poverty index is very significant because India performed well. The countries with the fastest reduction in MPI value in absolute terms were Sierra Leone, Mauritania and Liberia, followed by Timor-Leste, Ghana and Rwanda. In 14 countries in sub-Sahara Africa, the number of multidimensionally poor people increased, even though their MPI value decreased because of population growth. Next is Pragada guidelines on digital education. Union Human Resource Development Minister Sri Ramesh Pokhriyal Nishank released Pragada guidelines on digital education through online media. Pragada guidelines have been prepared by the Ministry of HRD. The Pragada guidelines include 8 steps of online digital learning, that is plan, review, arrange, guide, yak, assign, track and appreciate. So it contains guidelines include 8 steps of online or digital learning, that is plan, review, arrange, guide, talk, assign, track and appreciate. COVID-19 pandemic has led to closure of schools and has impacted over 240 million children of the country who are enrolled in schools. To mitigate the impact of the pandemic, schools will not only have to remodel and reimagine the way teaching and learning have happened so far. Pragada guidelines have been developed from the perspective of learners with a focus on online, blended digital education for students who are presently at home due to lockdown. Guidelines on digital or online education provide a roadmap or pointers for carrying forward online education to enhance the quality of education. The guidelines outline suggestions for administrators, school heads, teachers, parents and students on the following areas: need assessment, concern while planning online and digital education like duration, screen time, inclusiveness, balanced online and offline activity, etc. level wise, modalities of intervention including resource curation, level wise delivery, etc. Physical, mental health and well-being during digital education, cyber safety and ethical practices including precautions and measures for maintaining cyber safety, collaboration and convergence with various initiatives. So this is the poster you can see here, guidelines on digital education to assist school heads, teachers, parents and students in e-learning. So that is guidelines on digital education to assist school heads, teachers, parents and students in e-learning. And you can see all the 8 here: plan, review, arrange, guide, talk, assign, track and appreciate. Next is rural local bodies basic untied grants. The Finance Ministry released Rs 15,187 crore to 28 states as grant to rural local bodies to help them restart economic activity. Based on the recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission, Finance Ministry released Rs 15,187.50 crore to 28 states as the first installment of rural local bodies basic grants for 2020-21. The basic grants can be used by the local bodies for location specific felt needs, except for salary or other establishment expenditure. Untied funds are utilized for the works of emergent nature which are normally not covered under the schemes decentralized at the district level. Next topic of discussion is India's first transshipment hub. Minister of State for Shipping, Sri Mansukh Mandavia, has reviewed the development activities of Velarpadan terminal of Cochin Port. It is envisaged as first transshipment port of India managed by DP World. Transshipment hub is the terminal at the port which handles containers, stores them temporarily and transfers them to other ships for the onward destination. Kochi International Container Transshipment Terminal, locally known as the Velarpadan Terminal, is located strategically on the Indian coastline. Criteria which are needed to develop it as a transshipment hub: it is best positioned Indian port with regard to proximity to international sea routes. It is located at least coverage. It is located at least average nautical distance from all the Indian feeder ports. Once again, it is located at least average nautical distance from all Indian feeder ports. It entails a connectivity which has multiple weekly feeder connection to all ports on west and east coast of India from Mundra to Kolkata. It has proximity to key interland markets of India. It has the infrastructure to manage large ships and capacity to scale it up as per requirement. So that's about the Vallarpadam terminal, or that is about the first transshipment port of India. So Ministry of State for Ship, Sri Mansukh Mandavia has reviewed the development activities of Vallarpadam terminal of Cochin port. That is the discussion about. Next topic of discussion is State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020. That is SOF5. We can read it as SOFI. State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020. The report is presented by the Food and Agriculture Organization on the United Nations. So once again, the report is presented by the Food and Agriculture Organization on the United Nations, the International Fund for Agricultural Development, the United Nations Children's Fund, World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization. The State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 report presents the most recent and authoritative estimates of the extent of hunger, food insecurity, and malnutrition around the world. So that is about the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020. This year, the report includes a special focus on transforming food system for affordable healthy diets. It analyzes the cost and affordability of healthy diets around the world by region and in different development contexts. New analysis is presented on the hidden health and climate change costs associated with our current food consumption pattern, as well as the cost saving if we shift towards healthy diets that include sustainability consideration. The report also offers policy recommendation to transform current food system and make them able to deliver affordable healthy diets for all, crucial to all effort to achieve zero hunger SDG 2. So State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020, the report is presented by the Food and Agriculture Organization on the United Nations, the International Fund for Agriculture Development, the United Nations Children's Fund, World Food Programme, and the World Health Organization. The highlight is higher level of accuracy of the hunger estimates thanks to the availability of fresh data, including new population figures, new food balance sheets, and updated household survey data for a range of populous countries, including China. Projections of what the number of undernourished people and several nutrition indicators may look like by 2030 under a continuation of recent trend. Preliminary assessment of COVID-19 impacts on food security based on the recent global economic outlooks. So here the discussion is about the State of Food Security and Nutrition in the World 2020 SOFI. It's very significant about, and the report is presented by Food and Agriculture Organization on the United Nations, the International Fund for Agriculture Development, United Nations Children's Fund, World Food Programme, and World Health Organization. Next topic of discussion is Google India investment. The tech giant Google announced plan to invest $10 billion in India over the next 5 to 7 years by way of equity investment, partnerships, and other arrangements to accelerate digitization in the country. $10 billion fund would focus on areas such as enabling affordable access to the internet and to information for every Indian in their own language, building new products and services in segments like consumer tech, education, health and agriculture, empowering business, especially small and medium ones, to transform digitally, leveraging technology and artificial intelligence for digitally literacy, outbreak predictions, and support for rural economies. This investment will be made through a mix of equity investments, partnerships, operations, infrastructure, and ecosystem investment. This includes Google's existing projects such as Internet Sati for spreading awareness of the internet in rural village, and an artificial intelligence-based flood forecasting system, among others. Google investment plan is in line with big tech bullish outlook on India after tension with China. The last topic of discussion is WTO World Tariff Profile 2020. World Tariff Profile, a joint publication of the WTO International Trade Center and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, that is UNCTAD. So once again, World Tariff Profile, a joint publication of the WTO International Trade Center and the United Nations Conference on Trade and Development, provide comprehensive information on the tariff and non-tariff measures imposed by over 170 countries and customs territories. Duty-free imports remain prominent in almost a fifth of inbound manufacturing categories, despite average tariff in India being much higher than other major countries, a report by the World Trade Organization has revealed. Over 30% of electrical machinery import, 19% of non-electrical machinery, and 18% of various types of manufactured goods came to India as of 2018 through the duty-free route, according to the World Tariff Profile 2020. China has remained major target of India's push for import substitution in all these categories. The WTO data shows that imports have continued to pour in from nations for which duties on goods have been waived. The report shows that India's share of binding coverage, a broad indicator of a country's commitment to establish bound rates for imports and by extension slowly reduced tariff was 74%, lagging China's 100%. That's all in this video. Keep an extra eye on the analysis video. In the analysis video, you can understand how UPSC is framing questions from the current affairs into mains and preliminary examination. That's all. Have a great time. Thank you.